Alright, we are streaming online. Yes, we have
just use the shirt next
sound. And we'll give it a minute for everyone to get on.
Right there, right.
Yeah. No, he was going to use it for a mask. So you've got to open it up.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about it. Not in a public setting. Yeah. I mean, we all know, but we don't need to know. New version of the
Alright, it is 5 o'clock, so we will get started here. Today we are doing Hazcom. As you guys, most of you I'm sure saw in the email I sent, the weekly update. Hazcom standard in 2018 was the second most frequently cited standard from OSHA. So it is a common thing that comes up, most frequently cited, second most frequently cited. I am actually going to have PEC go over Hazcom with this little quick 5-minute video here and go through it for you. In just a second. Okay, we're gonna do this. I apologize. That did not work like I expected it to, but what's new? Are we really all that surprised? The YouTube is muted, yeah. And it won't come off. No. I think it's because it was probably muted when I put it in there, so it won't undo.
same thing.
Hazard communication. Like Guy, all workers have a right to know certain information about chemicals they will be working with or may be exposed to. Under the Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS, workers have the right to know and the right to understand. Once you have been informed of the hazards and how to safely work in and around them, be sure to use the appropriate personal protective equipment and safe work practices found in your company's written HCS program. You should also know how to use safety data sheet.
Hey, down in front.
Go! Alright,
Hazardous chemicals. Your company is required to keep
I don't know. I've had quite the day.
Almost like the HDMI.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The 99 here. Thanks for this one. What you doing now?
Yeah?
found in your company's written HCS program. You should also know how to use safety data sheets, or SDSs, in order to get health and safety information related to hazardous chemicals. Your company is required to keep SDSs for all chemicals on the job site. These SDSs must be readily available to you, and you should know where they are located. An SDS contains 16 sections and can be used to find out what PPE is necessary when working with a particular chemical, what potential hazards of working with that chemical may be. SDSs also describe what the first aid measures are and who to call in case of a release or an emergency. You should attend supplemental company briefings for HCS program updates and find out who is in charge of your HCS program. You should also know how you will be informed of hazards associated with non-routine tasks.
Can't work with
This over here.
You must be trained on how to detect the release of
Okay.
hazardous chemicals. Following monitor alarms. Make sure you understand how to protect yourself, how to recognize warning sounds or signals in your workplace, when to shelter in place, and when and how to alert emergency responders. Part of knowing the hazards is understanding labeling systems. One system includes the National Fire Protection Association's 704 label. The NFPA 704 label uses a numerical rating of 0 to 4 to indicate the severity of a hazard, while 0 indicates no or minimal hazard, 4 indicates the most severe hazard. It also communicates through color-coded segments. Red indicates a flammability hazard, while blue indicates a health hazard. Yellow indicates a reactivity hazard, and white indicates a special hazard. The Hazardous Materials Identification System label, or HMIS, is another common labeling system. The HMIS includes a rectangle that is divided by color segments: red, blue, orange, and white. The HMIS label differs from the NFPA 704 label in that it includes the type of PPE needed in the white segment and must be decoded using a reference chart. Like the NFPA 704 label, the HMIS label also has a numerical rating of 0 to 4 to indicate the severity of a hazard. Pictograms, signal words, hazard statements, and precautionary statements are standardized and are assigned hazard categories and classes. Pictograms are made up of a symbol plus other graphic elements. Each pictogram is made up of a symbol on a white background within a red diamond. Signal words indicate the level of severity of a hazard and alerts workers to a potential hazard. Labels will have 1 or 2 signal words: danger or warning. A chemical's pH, vapor density, and specific gravity determine how chemicals will behave or react with other chemicals in their surroundings. These properties are helpful during hazardous waste and emergency response operations, such as when workers attempt to clean up an oil spill. Permissible exposure limits, or PELs, and threshold limit values over a time-weighted average, or TLV-TWAs, indicate the average amount you can be safely exposed to a hazard for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Communication and preparation is vital in today's diversified workforce. Knowing the hazards you may be exposed to and how to protect yourself from them will allow you and your coworkers to get back to what matters most. Stay safe.
All right, we made it. So obviously Hazcom is hazardous communication, communicating hazards. These are all the different ways that we communicate hazards. Let me pull this back up now here. And switch this from here to here. And then skip. Alright, so we saw this in there. What is made up of a symbol and other graphic elements that convey information about a chemical? Pictogram. Great. All right. On an NFPA label, blue indicates what? Health hazards. Wonderful. And safety data sheets or SDSs can be used to find out what the potential what of working with a particular chemical are. Hazards. Safety focus phrase for those of you online is second most cited. So again, this was the second most cited standard from OSHA in 2018. There we go, hazards. I have a kudos here for Cody Gowers from Richard Wendling and Chad Clark. This week we, as in those two, Richard and Chad, have been making efforts to get the Devon areas cleaned up. On multiple occasions we have come across locations that have been cleaned up and the Getty boxes have been left in immaculate conditions. Checking with dispatch, we have found that Cody is constantly responsible for those cleanups. So thank you, Cody, for taking pride and ownership of the locations you work on. Your efforts not only aid Prairie moving forward, but demonstrate service excellence. So thank you for that, Cody. Sal, where are you at?
Saul! Hey, Saul!
Back to your favorite part of the program.
Okay. Again, we try and base these off things we come across. And, this whole weekend was great. I had a great time. Went for a ride on my bike. It was nice. I came in Monday, and this is what I got presented with Monday morning. So I decided to make a safety thing out of it. I named it Strap It Up because that's what they told me in the parts room. Sounds kind of... but it's not that. So just try and stay the course here. Is it the down button?
It is the over button.
So your illustration is hoses are touching catwalk? No.
No, not yet. Kind of. You'll see it in a minute here. As far as the strap part, all the cables, hoses, cords, everything's bound together. And the reason we want that is so nothing will touch the catwalk and get worn out. Hoses especially. Again, even if they're a short distance off the catwalk when you leave, any kind of bouncing, the smooth roads you guys drive on, they'll still bounce and touch that. So we try and want to keep them elevated a little bit. And again, it's imperative that we keep them strapped the same way. And I say that because we've seen this where the two hooks are hooked together and things can still move around. Not really strapped up that well. So this is the adequate way to do that so that, again, nothing moves. The hose hangers, this is another big thing we see with these, and the reason being is because you're talking about aluminum. Again, I'm glad we saved weight, that's awesome, but strength and durability is very minimal with aluminum. So with that being said, we need to watch for where the top and the bottom where that bolt goes through in the housing, where it's turning and pivoting. We got an amazing welder here, and he fixes a lot of these things, which is nice when you catch them. When you don't, and it goes down, you're kind of SOL because there's nothing else to hook on to. So it's imperative that we keep an eye on those things too. Most of the time we try and do that in the shop, but again, the more eyes, the better. That's why we're bringing it up now. So now you're all responsible.
Remember, we can't climb on top of them trailers to look at it.
Huh? What's up? What's up, bud?
Remember, we can't get up on them trailers and look at them real close, so we can glance at them as even the best we can. So
That's all we ask, bud. That's all we ask.
Push up on a catwalk.
And that's just it too. I don't want no one climbing up or anything or swinging over. But again, the whole point is if you get more sets of eyes on it, maybe you'll catch something that we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt it, but you probably will. So, and that's why, because then we're gonna miss it. So that's why we want more eyes on it. Please remember that you need to unclip everything before you pull away. And I say that because, again, I would hope this would be like this shocking thing that everyone sees, but it's not. It's something we see a lot. This is the aftermath. It's tragic.
Those springs get really, really long when they get straight.
That's what I walked into Monday morning. So
Really long.
it's like I just got back. Who did this? Again, it doesn't matter who, because what it comes down to is since we are a team effort, and I push this for everything with all mechanics and the drivers as well. When this happens anywhere, it doesn't matter who it was. It doesn't matter what truck it was. What matters is that the truck is a white truck and it says Prairie on it, and a Prairie driver was behind it. be it a mechanic or driver. That's what's imperative here. So again, this comes back to the accountability thing. And I can't say that it's been just drivers, as well. It's been mechanics also. So it happens to the best of us. The whole thing is we just need to be aware of it. This only happens one way. It's human error. Damn it. It is what it is. So, but that's I think all that I had. Now, one other thing I just want to throw real quick, and this is something we just came up to in the shop, and it's the same trailer we've seen 2 times now with the exact same issue. And what it came down to, and this was not just us guessing or assuming. We actually asked the assistance of the driver because from our standpoint we weren't sure. We pulled the driver's side and said, "What's your perception? Where do you see this?" And it came down to that that trailer was backed up with the tag axles down. And the reason it's an issue for us is because it's been a damaged part that we've seen twice now. The exact same part, exact same place, exact same thing. That's that human error part we're coming again. Now, and I don't want to say it's just human error because it could be the location of the area. What it's going to come down to is we're going to push it to the supervisor and get over there to have them take a look at to see if that's something that's in the area. Because I don't want to say it's just a driver thing. I want to find out for sure, and I want all of us to be on the same page and not know that we're not just pointing fingers. We need to find out what the issue is so we can confront it and move forward, and hopefully better off that trailer and that driver. So, other than that, again, that was just perception. We don't want to say that's what it was. That's what we're trying to find out. But something to keep in mind if it does come down to that. Something we need to be looking out for. So, that's all I got. Questions? No? Okay, super.
And that is only with the trailers that have the rear tag.
Correct.
Tag in the rear tag.
It's better to get in the habit if you have a trailer with a tag, put the tag up before you back up, so that way you just get in the habit.
Other tags too, don't be dragging back up.
Or if you're making sharp corners with them, pull up your tag. You're gonna roll the tire right off the tag.
Especially loaded.
Pull them up and wait till you get straight and put them back down. Or drift. Yeah.
Get going faster and wick the wheel.
Okay, one thing I want to start thinking about, guys, is especially driving at night. We got quite a few drivers that do. When you guys are out there along Ross Road, Jenny Trail, wherever you're at, Hornbuckle, there ain't nothing for light. If you guys need somebody to help come spot you backing up or whatever, call somebody. Ask for help. We had a driver the other night. He was trying to turn around on Ross Road, saw a car coming over the hill, so he panicked, tried to do it as quick as he could, caused a little bit of vehicle damage, ended up driving out in the prairie. But like Devon locations, navigation, there's another one now too that we're not supposed to be backing up on location. So if you guys have to back up, check your surroundings, make sure it's clear, don't do it on a busy road, and just focus on what you need to do. And always ask for help, especially backing up in the dark. Because your lights, you only see so far. You've got a big blind spot right behind you. And especially if you're blind side backing, you can't see diddly. So just don't do it. Avoid it at all costs. But we got supervisors out there, or another driver might be available to help give you lights or help guide you back. But use caution, think safely, and always pay attention. Yep, that's the biggest one.
Sal, I have something for you, but when we're done. Okay, that is it for today. Please don't forget to sign the roster before you leave. Let's have a safe week, and we will see you next week. Adios.